Photo messaging app Snapchat is raising another round of venture capital funding that would reportedly value the social media company at $19 billion. For a look at whether the company can live up to that valuation, we've got Santosh Rao, the head of research at Manhattan Venture Partners, joining us now from New York. Santosh, great to have you with us today. Thanks for joining us. And I couldn't quite believe it when I saw that they're out there in the market once again, the venture capital market wanting $500 million, valuing it at $19 billion. Does any of that make sense?
Well, thanks for having me. I think this is another head-scratching day in the private market world. I'm not sure if they need the money, but there is money out there to be invested. As you saw, last year was a record year in venture capital investing. About $48 billion was invested. That's the highest since 2000. So there's a lot of money coming in, waiting to be invested. And investors want to be in on the next big thing. They don't want to miss out on the next big thing. If they missed out on Facebook, Twitter, Uber, and Airbnb, they want to get in on this one. And they just want to be on the cap table. It's very important. It kind of feeds itself. So I think there's some bragging right to being on the next big thing. So all that is feeding into this frenzy. And that's why you see the valuation that's very high. So it's not really driven by fundamentals as much as investors just want to be in on the next big thing.
Amazing. Huge demand for these social media companies. Santosh, let me ask you this, though. Let's talk a little bit about this. What exactly Snapchat is and who it's geared towards. Not everybody knows Snapchat.
Right. So Snapchat is geared, it's a photo sharing app, and it's one of the first of what they call the ephemeral sites where the content disappears in 10 seconds or 24 hours, depending on which one you choose. But it's really geared towards the young crowd, the crowd that's getting tired, the teenage crowd that's kind of tired of Facebooks and Twitters. They really want to go to the next big thing. Like my teenage daughter, for instance, she wants Snapchat. All her friends want Snapchat. So that's the next big thing. So there's a lot of peer pressure for the teenagers to get in on this. And it's a very cool thing. The site itself is very interesting. It's a very curated site, so you don't get any feeds that you don't want. You can really control what you see and what you pass out. And there is a privacy issue that's well protected because all the photographs that you send disappear in 10 seconds. So if you don't need to go back and kind of fix what you did wrong or right in the past, like you did with Facebook. Here it's gone. So it helps you out there. So there's a lot of curated content, and even the advertising is very subtle. It's not very intrusive. It's more driven by news and just kind of news and commentary, which is very well suited. It's not very random. Right. So you really get to choose the content. It's a curated content.
Santosh, let me ask you this, though. We should talk about the business model, because I think, when you say that it's almost a head-scratching kind of day, I would agree with you. If this company is valued at $19 billion, what's their revenue, and how do they make money, and is that sustainable?
Yeah, so right now, I think they've just turned down the monetization engine about maybe late last year. So it's very early. From what we hear, the early reports are they have about 100 to 200 million users. And so if any, I think all that advertisers are looking for eyeballs. They go where there are people, where there's heavy demand for a site. And I think what they will do is they will get advertising money from these people. And it's not very forced advertising. They have something called the Discovery channel that they've opened, where all the news contents that the traditional media put their content in there, and they pay Snapchat to go in there. So that's a source of revenue. So I think that's the main thing, that they will monetize just the content in there. So I think the advertisers will come in as the eyeballs increase. Advertisers like number of large eyeballs, and that's what that was going to happen here.
Santosh, it was interesting. We've on BNN, of course, reported, I think it was a year ago, I can't even remember now, that this company, Snapchat, was quite famous in turning down Facebook's $3 billion offer. Do you think that at $19 billion, if that's the true valuation of this company, that anybody would come in and buy it?
Well, there are a number of companies that we can think about. Google has been very unsuccessful in the mobile social media space, so I think I can see them coming in. They were early. They tried to get in early, but they could not. So then you can also make a case for Twitter. You can make a case for Yahoo. You can make a case for Tencent. So I think there are a number of companies that it makes sense to have Snapchat in their portfolio. So,
Yeah.
I think that's that's where it is.
Does it make sense for you to have it in your portfolio?
Snapchat,
Yes.
if I was a venture capital, yeah, I think it's kind of high. I would really think twice before investing at this level. There's a little bit of irrationality here, but then, you know, everyone thought Facebook was irrational when it came out, Twitter was irrational when it came out. Then it all made sense. So we really have to wait a year or two to really see whether all this makes sense.
Right.
But I think at this stage they're doing the right things, pressing the right buttons. They have the right demographic profile, and the advertisers are there and they're coming in. So I think they're doing the right thing.
All right, Santosh, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
That was Santosh Rao, head of research at Manhattan Venture Partners, joining us from New York.